We're here to discuss music videos and to discuss the work of Darren Sylvester, the artist and musician. Before I introduce Darren, who is on screen and who you can see, I'm going to introduce my co-host for tonight, who is critic and author Anwen Crawford. Anwen, thank you very much for joining us.
Hello.
And now, Darren, thank you for joining us to walk through some of your music videos, talk about your art, your music, and your influences. I think everyone is in for quite a treat, considering that we've all seen, none of you have, but we've seen the list of music videos and videos screening tonight, and it's an assortment of riches, not all music videos. We were talking before the stream went live about the fact that there's some short films in there and there's some video art. Which I think, considering the stream is a sort of Rage light, maybe we can inadvertently petition Rage to start programming video art as well.
Yes, I thought we were just saying I felt like it was almost like a Rage playlist, and then midway through I realized we can do whatever we want. So I thought we could throw in some video art in there as well.
Just got to keep people on their toes. So for people who aren't familiar with your work, trying to think of how I would... You are a multidisciplinary artist. You sort of made your name with photographic works in the early 2000s and mid-2000s and moved to, throughout that period, working on installation work, sculptural works that sort of spoke to photography and pop culture, cliches, the way in which we engage with media generally. And then in 2008, you made an album. You considered that album, which is a self-titled album. You conceived of that as an art project in its own right. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, every time I had a show, I wanted to do something new. From about 2000 was the first time I incorporated painting, and then after that was some sculpture, and that worked its way up. More sculpture, and then Goma in Queensland invited me up to talk about a new exhibition and wanted me to pitch some ideas, and I basically pitched them. Here's some photos, here's some videos, but I've got this crazy idea where I will make you a record, and that record will be a vinyl and it'll be a sculpture, and you'll rotate it every day so people can hear like 6 songs a day. And I played guitar in my room. That was about it. And I remember getting back on the plane and flying back because there was no internet. And I remember getting back on the plane, flying back to Melbourne, and hoping that they wouldn't choose that choice because I probably had 2 wines at lunch and thought I probably came up with it on the spot. And I got back home and logged into my computer and just emailed going, "We love the record idea, we're going to go with that one." And I was like, oh, fuck. And literally the story was I just went to Alan's Music in the city and bought a microphone and a synthesizer, and I bought Logic Express for $80. And then went home and kind of plugged it in, did the Express tutorial and learned, okay, if something records. And I pretty much had 5 months then to write 10 songs and play everything and write everything and then get it mastered and mixed and turned into a record, and that became the first album. And there was just like a weird thing of getting that together, and through that, the one-off turned into being asked to play shows and turn into like getting a record deal and stuff like that. So yeah, time constraints was a big winner in that one.
So is wine, it seems.
The classic way to start a band is to book in your gig first and then have to write songs.
This was like March, and the show opened on October 1st, and it just had to be done.
Yeah.
So I was every night, headphones on, making that first record.
And did you start making music videos for that first record?
No, there's no music video for that first record, but funnily enough, there is. You can look it up on YouTube, but the hit song on that one, which Triple R in Melbourne plays all the time still, which was That's a Nice Haircut. Someone has done a fan video of that one of celebrities who have shaved their heads. So I didn't include that tonight, but because I think it's a bit on the nose, but yeah, so there's a fan video of that one. I was busy making a record. I had no concept of music videos or making music videos at that stage.
Oh, that's interesting. So your practice in making music videos came, I think in my head I was thinking it must have come before you actually started recording music, but it came after, like, afterwards.
Yeah, it came in the next records. It was 2013. Like one of the ones we'll see in this first cycle was in that, and it was I guess like another bow to the arrow, because the second record was being done, and I was making exhibitions, and all of a sudden I was told you've got to make music videos as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we were talking beforehand, like fans of Rage and watching Rage and so forth. So that was always like super exciting to music video, but I came to it from, I have no idea how to do this. I have no idea what's good. And yeah, so it was kind of, yeah, it came much later. But I love the form. Like I love making records too, because they're just sculptural to me, meaning that the recording a song or something, you record it, you add things like clay, you take it away, you sand it, you build it up again, you mix it. I don't really see any difference between like an artistic practice. It's just your different tools you're using, that's all. And a music video is the same, because you get this very post song. You've already got the song, so you've got the parameters, the time and the mood, and then you can just like, okay, now I'm going to try and in 3 minutes make something interesting to watch.
It's interesting that the sort of the line that blurs between, is it an album or an artwork, or is the process the same as producing an artwork? Considering at your exhibition at the NGV last year, you had a small little room off to the side where people could sit down and just watch your music videos, which actually did feel of a piece with the rest of the exhibition. It didn't feel like here's an addendum or here's something to look at. It was like, oh no, there's a relationship between these videos and the video artworks in the next room or the photos on the wall. It seems like you've been able to, in your music video work, sort of seamlessly fit that into your art practice, whether it's like referentiality, so having videos that speak to like New Order or speak to the way in which portrait photography functions. Did you sort of relish the chance when you realized that music video is like another avenue to go down?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like again, it was just exciting to try that and see it more, maybe the outcome, meaning YouTube essentially, or Rage or something like that, and heading into a new medium, meaning television for a start, or iPhone is the main one, and that would be something that sculpturally you can go into the gallery, or I guess in those early 2000s you would have to see the show, or you'd have to get slides or something like that, and that's obviously progressed right through to Instagram, and the music pop video has kind of changed quite a lot, because you would go from stills, but now you get video on Instagram, and this is all kind of old stuff, but I've kind of liked how that's kind of progressed further and further, and probably even Instagram stories, and the fact that everybody now is a little bit like a video director, and everybody's kind of does that. It's a medium that's kind of become open to everybody, and also in particular, if you're a band, sometimes a band will go, oh, we don't know how to make a music video, and I kind of go, you've got an iPhone and you've got like iMovie, and you can, it's all possible. Everything's possible. So all those avenues are really exciting.
Yeah, there's certainly a scrappiness to it that's quite interesting now. But I think too, like music video has shifted towards that scrappiness. From, the 1990s Joseph Kahn sort of massive, Backstreet Boys in a haunted mansion style movie studio as music video, which I guess like bands like BTS are still doing today.
I think the massively high budget music video, which actually began in the 80s with the kind of dawn of MTV, that has come back in a big way with it's interesting. I feel like kind of immediately pre-YouTube, like in those kind of late 90s to early 2000s years of the internet, when it was more about Napster and file sharing, the music video maybe fell out of contention a bit as a platform for musicians or artists to kind of deliver a vision. But with YouTube, it really came back around again. And so it's like you've got, on the one hand, you've got the scrappier videos that are now much more easy for people to make because they can access those resources. But on the other hand, I think there's been a big resurgence of the kind of massive multi-million-dollar, kind of statement video from artists who can command those kind of resources,
I think it's like the existence of some of those videos, like maybe for a period of time it wasn't the case that directors or artists could make their name in music video rather than in film. So like the example that comes to mind right now is Zia Anger. Her film, My First Film, has been doing the rounds as like a performance piece at festivals, but she's I first heard of her because she did all the music videos for Maggie Rogers for a while. And
she did videos for Jenny Val, I think, as well too.
Yeah.
Some videos, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, for some directors, like it's music videos that allow people into their work. For you, Darren, it must be somewhat surreal to have people approach your artwork through your music, to like find you on Spotify or YouTube and then go, who's that? Oh, okay, I'm going to go see, it's not just an album, it's part of a much bigger project.
Yeah, it's really exciting when that happens. Yeah, I get that quite often of you make art as well, and that's kind of really good. Because obviously, the music becomes a smaller thing because it's a record comes out every 3 years or so, where shows happen every year. So more time is making artwork, making videos. I do agree though that I feel like that an Ariana Grande or a big blockbuster video, when it streams, I don't know the mathematics of it, but it does seem like if you do a massive song and it trends and it gets like 5 million plays, and obviously they're making their money back on that budget. And I don't think that did like 4 or 5 years ago. There was like a big dire of the video is over. So maybe there's a resurgence of that now. But I think there definitely was like 5, 6 years ago, it's over. There was no money in it anymore. But people have sort of learned how to monetize on that.
Yeah, and also I think in terms of the music, I think part of the resurgence has also been because Billboard, certainly in the US, and I presume the ARIA charts too, but I'd have to check this, they now count YouTube views as sales, digital sales of the song, like they count Spotify streams. So I think too that's obviously a way to, monetize the video and part of the resurgence of the video. But what you do is interesting in terms of, I think back to the kind of 70s and 80s and that sense of like art school pop, particularly in the UK, there was such a kind of strong tradition of bands and musicians who had an interest in art, in visual art, and who'd maybe been through art school, but nevertheless they kind of made pop music their main vehicle, and you're doing that too, but it's kind of almost the inverse, in which rather than make a kind of full-blown pop career, you're kind of using pop music and its mediums as more in the kind of visual art field in some ways.
Yeah, that's probably because in like 2000 to maybe like 3 years ago, I played live all the time, and I haven't played live for 3 years. And as I was doing that a lot, I think there were like practicalities. One was I was teaching and I had an art career, and I would also be every Tuesday at the Empress playing to 4 people or something like that, and I'd be rehearsing and getting it together, and I was kind of going, I just personally felt like there was no, there's got to be a better way to reach people. So videos seemed like a much better use of my time to create product than it was to have a live experience all the time. And I think also there was a didn't like seeing myself in terms of like in videos and so forth. I think I've only ever been in one of my videos, and I like that too, the aspect of like I just wanted to put characters in there and have other people be stuff. I wanted to be behind the camera, the same as their artwork, behind a camera or behind the sculpture, not necessarily always in them. So I think that was an element I really liked too. Also just like the fantasy of creating a world and then listening to something you've made and see someone else enact it or do it is actually incredibly thrilling to do, to create that fantastical or fantasy moment within a video clip is really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I think
And that
speaking
kind
of,
of. Oh,
you go,
go.
Anwen.
Oh, I was just saying. I was just going to say. I mean, that's partly also the power of collaboration, right? Too, is when when you're doing that with other people, and you can yeah, create something bigger than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, and actually on that one too is that the video clips are often collaborative with other people, whereas the artwork never really is that much. There's not there's assistance and so forth in making the artwork, but I have definitely drawn a line that when it comes to music videos or getting other people involved increasingly in making the music, I like that collaboration. It's like I've opened up the door and going, I like this aspect of other people coming in, generally because they're more talented than me. But whereas the artwork, obviously, like I've tried that it's a singular vision, the artwork. But music and videos is definitely collaborative.
Mm.
On that point, I think we'll move to our first bracket of music videos. I've just realized your first selection, Darren, is someone who had a birthday on Tuesday.
Ah, yes. Grace Jones.
A very happy birthday to Grace Jones for Tuesday. So, Darren, can you tell us what we're about to watch this first bracket?
Yeah, I wanted to start simple, like just that idea of you can do it yourself. So Grace Jones' Private Life is a fantastic video because it's one take and there's no edits in it whatsoever. I'm sure they did a couple of takes when they were there. But I really like that aspect of the DIY aesthetic that you could do this yourself, meaning you could just do a one take and you've got that video. And it's about her as a character and her performance, and the mask is really powerful to me to keep that really simplistic. And then after that, Lio, a French artist from the 70s who I really love. And in particular, that was from French television, the next one. And she's just by herself. And again, there's only 4 edits in that video too. She's just sitting at a bar singing the song. I really love the song. I really, really love the song. And I love the mood of it. And when we show my video, Don't Do That to Yourself, the 4th one, that was a direct rip-off of that. I wanted a female character to be with minimal edits singing to the camera. And she's on a massive set that I painted, which was the album cover. The album cover, this was like a 6 by 6 by 6 meter acrylic painting in cardboard I did in the house. And we didn't want to lose it, so I thought, oh, let's do a video there. And because I really love like that sort of French or 80s television live performance, the other one is Kraftwerk. I thought Kraftwerk would be a great one to see, where the live performance is so fantastic with the mannequins and the characters they've evolved. So, and then my video. So I think the first set of 4 is like characters and how you don't have to do much edits, you don't have to do very much, but the personalities are really fantastic. But the construction of these videos is incredibly simple.
Cool. So, Felix, please hit that big music video button and let's watch, first up, Grace Jones's Private Life.